Good evening. My purpose is help, not argument. If you have carried wounds since childhood, we are not here to dismiss your pain or to replace any care that is serving you. We are adding a solemn, responsible inner approach, one that can be practiced in the quiet of your own being. Words are auxiliaries. Words are sometimes an interference. So we will keep the words few and exact and let the Spirit behind the words do the work. My conversation is usually limited to this: I will help you. Let us begin where the ache insists. Why does the past feel so present? Not because it is you, not because it has law. It feels present because it claims consciousness. It is a suggestion appearing in your awareness and speaking in the first person singular. I am afraid. I am unworthy. I am in danger. It is bold. It is immediate. It speaks as if it were your own voice. But it is not identity. It is a claim upon consciousness. Do you see? Do you follow that? I sat once with a man, let us call him Thomas, who said that whenever a door slammed, the air in his chest turned to wire. He was 52, and the sound made him 13 again. He was not faking. He was not being dramatic. His breath was caught by a memory that had learned to wear his face. Now listen carefully. We honored the breathlessness. We sat until it softened, but we did not accept 13 as his name. We did not anoint the memory as self. We treated it as a claim, as a suggestion that had trained itself to say I. In that moment, our work began, not with many words, but with a turning. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and fix the body. Be still and know. Presence first. Identity first. There is a phrase in Scripture, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That is not inertia, it is authority. It announces that there is an I greater than the noise, nearer than the breath, the I that is your very life. We will speak more of this I, God, appearing as individual being and of the holy simplicity of is. For now, let your ears rest upon this. Your history is not your identity. The sensations are experiences. They are not the self. You may honor them without enthroning them. You may feel them without naming them me. A suggestion that claims me depends on your consent. It leans on your agreement with a picture of yesterday portrayed as now. The moment you notice that device, you have a choice. You can become the trigger, wear it like a mask, and act from it, or you can behold it as a visiting thought without authority and refuse to be impersonated by it. Hope without denial means just this. We neither argue with the body nor bow to it. We acknowledge the appearance, and we bring to it the quiet knowing of presence. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Not will be, I am. You may ask, how will I know this is more than talk? By your life experience, by the fruitage. In the days ahead, as you practice, you will notice small freedoms appearing like early light breath, returning sooner, a softer word in your mouth where once a sharp one leaped, a decision made without the old panic. Do not demand firework. Do not force an experience. Let us agree simply to watch for fruit. I will help you. Let that be enough for now. The past may continue to knock, but tonight we withdraw its key. We will not let it move in. We will learn to meet the knock without becoming the knocker. We will use few words, but we will use them faithfully. Be still. I am. Do you see? Let us give a name to the voice that arrives with such certainty and lays hold of your breath. Scripture calls it the arm of flesh. With him is an arm of flesh, but with us is the Lord our God to help us. 2 Chronicles 32-8. Do you hear the contrast? Flesh on one side, God on the other, not as two equal powers contending, but as appearance and reality, claim and source. The arm of flesh is the human sense that overstates its authority. It is the body memory, the reflex, the conditioning, the mind's prediction loop, whispering, this is final, this is law, this is you. It is loud because it is close to the surface. It is convincing because it borrows your pronoun. It is not sovereign. Do not mistake me. To name it arm of flesh is not contempt for the body. We do not sneer at the nervous system or deny its signals. The body is an instrument. It is a good servant when it is not enthroned as master. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. John 6:63. That is not a rejection of embodiment. It is a right placement of authority. We honor the sensation as an appearance to be met. We refuse to anoint physiology as the ruler of being. Do you follow that? The arm of flesh thrives on the universal belief in two powers, spirit as one power and a second power called past, threat, nervous system, fate, two thrones in one kingdom. The moment we conceive that second throne, even if only for the span of a startle, the claim begins to legislate. It writes its edicts on your pulse. It says, when the door slams, the war begins. When the tone rises, the child in you must flinch. When the room is crowded, your life narrows to a straw. That is the arm of flesh practicing law without a license. It is mesmerism masquerading as mandate. The problem is not that a body tightens. The problem is that consciousness bows and calls the tightening truth. Let us use an old picture. In the dusk, a coiled rope looks like a snake. The gasp is real, the sweat is real. But the snake, a misinterpretation. When the light comes, do you fight the sweat? Do you berate the eyes? No. You correct the naming. You see rope where the fear named snake, so it is here. Sensation is not always revelation. Startle is not authority. The arm of flesh points and declares snake. Presence turns and beholds rope. The change is not in the coil, the change is in consciousness. We walk by faith, not by sight, 2 Corinthians 5-7, meaning, of course, not credulity, but trust in the unseen law of spirit above the testimony of the nerves. In trauma language, the prediction loop fires, chemistry rushes, breath shortens, images arise. We can acknowledge this biology without submitting to its throne. If you misname the claim as identity, this is me, and it will always be me, you split yourself and go to war within your own house. A house divided against itself shall not stand. But if you name it accurately, this is a suggestion claiming me, the arm of flesh asserting law, you can be present without collapse. You can let the body discharge without authorizing it to write your story. That is not resistance. That is right government. Listen to the inner posture. Be not afraid. Only believe. Mark 5:36. Believe what? Believe in the one power, the I, that is God, appearing as individual being, we will speak more of as and is. For now, it is enough to see the contest for what it is, not between you and your body, but between a claim and reality. A claim is as strong as your consent. Withdraw consent, and you withdraw fuel. Withdraw fuel, and the engine runs down. Therefore, we begin to meet each surge with clear language and consciousness. This is the arm of flesh appearance claiming law. It has no mandate, no person, no permanence. I will help you. We will not argue with the pulse. We will not enthrone it. We will stand still long enough to let isness clarify what is rope and what is snake. As we do, a kind of quiet appears, authority without strain. For the battle is not yours, but God's. Do you see? If you can see this, you have taken the weapon from the suggestion's hand. The body may tremble, the soul need not. Now we come to the first pillar. The work is built around a few words. The first is as not God and you, not God somewhere and you here, God appearing as you, God the invisible as Son the visible. He that hath seen me hath seen the Father, for I and the Father are one. Do you see the audacity and the simplicity? Identity is not an achievement, it is an isness appearing as individual being. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Not after the baptism of fire, not after performance, before the ministry, before the proofs. Sonship precedes repair. Let us translate this to the question that aches in your nerves. You are not a nervous system trying to become spiritual. You are spiritual being appearing where a nervous system is noticed. The body reports, but it does not confer identity. The biography speaks, but it does not give you your name. The government is the I, which is God, manifest as individual you. To believe otherwise is to place the cart before the horse and then condemn the cart for not becoming a horse. When the startle comes, if you accept the premise, I am a damaged self who must climb to God, you have already granted authority to the arm of flesh. You have placed salvation in time. You have made yesterday the gatekeeper of today, as undoes that, as removes the travel, as collapses the distance. I live, yet not I. Christ liveth in me. Not someday. Not once I have processed enough memories or triumphed over enough reflexes. Now, the Son of God is your identity appearing as your individuality. That does not negate your humanity. It puts it in its right place as the transparency through which God shines, not as a separate entity that must plead its way into worthiness. The moment you accept as you cease trying to become what you already are, and you begin to let what you are announce itself through the very places that once cried pain. I sat with a woman called Amara who said, if I could stop flinching, I would feel worthy. We waited. We listened. Then another sentence arrived, not from effort, but from recognition. I am the beloved appearing here. The flinch did not instantly vanish. The identity shame lifted at the root. Worthiness was no longer tied to winning the reflex. Worthiness was God's own esteem shining as individual being. The body could learn at its own pace because authority had been returned to source. Do you follow that? If you seek healing to become worthy, you bind yourself to the symptoms calendar. If you realize worth as identity, healing becomes the byproduct of right government. As is a word you can use to correct your inner grammar. Not God come to me. But Father, I thank thee that thou appear as this I. Not make me safe, but thou art my life appearing as this breath, as this clarity. This is not rhetoric, it is a reversal of premise. If the premise is separation, every practice becomes a ladder. If the premise is oneness, every practice becomes a window. Ladders exhaust, windows illumine. In him we live and move and have our being, not outside trying to get in. Within, witnessed as this very presence called you, there is a subtle trap here, and I want you to hear it clearly. The mind loves to bargain. If I untrigger enough, then perhaps I may claim sonship. That appears humble. It is unbelief in disguise. It enthrones an idol named past at the door of your life and pays toll to enter your own house. Drop it. Bow to no gatekeeper. Identity does not arrive by appeasing memory. Identity is the light by which memory is seen and redeemed. Before Abraham was, I am. Before the story, I am. Before the slam of the door, I am. Before the hand that failed you, I am. That I am is not an abstraction. It is God's self-utterance appearing as the fact of you, with as We do not deny the human story. We relocate its authority. We say to the record, you are not commander. You are a page in a larger book. We can honor the page without giving it the pen. When the claim speaks in the first person, I am terror, I am unworthy, you need not argue. You quietly behold, this is a suggestion claiming me. It is not I. I is God appearing as individual being. That realization does not insult your pain. It removes its throne. Then, even while the body completes its wave, the soul stands in its name. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. I will help you. Do you see how this prepares the way for what we shall call is, as anchors, identity, is, anchors, presence? Together they end the reign of yesterday by refusing it jurisdiction over today. For now, let this be our inner speech, God appearing as me. Sonship before sensation, worth before repair. And let us watch, by your life experience, what fruitage springs when the axe is laid not to the branch of symptoms, but to the root of separation. We come now to the second word, is. If as establishes identity, is establishes government, we are not setting out to make a condition conform. We are consenting to what is eternally true and letting it announce itself as this moment. You are never trying to create harmony. Harmony is, you are never trying to produce life. Life is. Love is. Peace is. Presence is. I am. Do you see the shift? From manufacture to recognition, from efforting to beholding. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:2-1. Very present now, not then, not someday. Trauma's trick is temporal. It borrows the body's immediacy to persuade you that yesterday is happening now. A smell, a tone, a posture in a doorway, and the projector starts. Sensation rises with the speed of a shout and says, this is happening now. Act as if the past were king. That is how the arm of flesh secures its edicts, by dressing yesterday in today's clothing. Is returns jurisdiction to what actually is looks at the sensation, honors it as experience, and refuses its false passport. Is says, this breath is now, this floor under my feet is now. God's presence as the life and law of my being is now. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2. Not because a clock said so, but because reality is timeless and therefore always present. You are not trying to make truth true. 2 times 2 is 4. You do not rub your forehead to make it so. You simply recognize what is, and behold how everything that seemed tangled falls into order the instant the principle is acknowledged. Spiritual work is arithmetic of the real. The Christ is not made present by your affirmation. The Christ is present, and your recognition removes the veil. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. Hebrews 13:8. The sameness is not monotony. It is reliability. It is the reason you can stand still when the memory shouts fire in a theater that is empty. Not because you are superior to startle, but because you will not insult reality by agreeing to the lie of time. Now, I must guard you here. Is not a narcotic. It is not a way to bypass tears. The body may weep, the hands may tremble, the throat may close. Is does not argue with that. Is gives the body permission to complete its wave, while the soul refuses to abdicate the throne. Truth is not measured by your comfort. If comfort were the measure, the cross would disprove spirit. Yet out of the cross came the word, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Do you see? Presence was not absent because agony was reported. Presence remained presence, and fruitage bore witness in resurrection. So let your feelings be what they are, and let truth be what it is. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, John 14:27, not as adrenaline cessation, not as empty room, but as the inner authority that does not vacate its post. Practice this in the small ways. A noise startles. Before the opinion forms, let a sentence arise without strain. Is. Life is. God is appearing as I. Do not force breath. Notice breath. Do not command stillness. Behold it as already the atmosphere of God's being right where you are. If words help, keep them few. I am here. Or that older utterance from the bush that burns but is not consumed. I am that I am. And then listen, not for fireworks, for the quiet satisfaction that the ground under your feet is not a battlefield but holy ground. If you must act, step away, ask for space, call a friend, do so. Is never forbids wise action. It supplies right action without panic. When you live in is, yesterday loses its stolen badge. The image may pass before your eyes. The body may recite its old lines, but the director has changed. Government has returned to the present. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Not a date, but a dimension. From this dimension, the next movement in our way becomes simple. A trigger is not myself, but a suggestion claiming me. As and is together make a floor that will bear your weight. From that floor, we will learn to meet each claim without hatred, without self-violence, without pretending. Lo, I am with you always. Matthew 28:20. I will help you. Do you follow that? Let us take the next honest step. If as restores identity and as restores government, then this is our practice in the moment of surge. Impersonalize the claim. Error has no person, law, or substance. It is hypnotic suggestion, mesmerism, the belief in two powers rehearsing itself in your awareness. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12. Do you hear it? Not against persons, not even against your own body, but against a claim pretending to be law. The arm of flesh speaks with borrowed pronouns. It says, I am terrified. It signs your name, but the handwriting is forged. I will not speak lightly. The body can thunder. The throat can close. Tears can arrive, as if summoned by an old general. We honor that. Compassion is not agreement. Compassion feels with. It does not enthrone. To enthrone is to say, this is me, this is my life, this is my destiny. To be compassionate is to sit beside the tremor and declare inwardly, without strain and without argument, this is a claim on consciousness, not my life, not my identity. Do you see the distinction? We do not turn away from the one who suffers. We turn away from the lie that the suffering is self. Here is the simple mechanics. A trigger is a stimulus plus a meaning. The stimulus may be a sound, a face, a season of the year. The meaning is often an old conclusion. When this happens, danger follows. When that tone appears, I am powerless. When that smell returns, I am small. Those meanings are not your essence. They are learned, repeatable, impersonal. They belong to a library of human beliefs, not to the temple of your eye. If 1,000 people trained in the same house would tighten at the same slam of a door, we are looking at conditioning, not identity. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:2. Renewing means precisely this: separating stimulus from self, withdrawing the ruling power from meaning. In the moment, keep the words few. The mind loves a courtroom. Do not become its attorney. A quiet, clear sentence will do. This is a claim on consciousness, not my life, not my identity. You are not fighting sensation. You are refusing deputization. In that refusal, the pressure often loosens by itself, not because you out-argued it, but because you removed its badge. The snake in the twilight proves, on inspection, to be a rope. The gasp was felt, the sweat was real, the snake was never there. Likewise, the meaning called I am in present danger may be noise wearing yesterday's uniform. It shows you the rope, as keeps you from calling yourself the snake. One of our friends, let us name him Caleb, found that the clink of ice in a glass froze his back. For years he personalized it, my trigger, my curse. The day he shifted the grammar, a suggestion claiming me, space opened. The clink still sounded, the back still tightened, but it no longer wrote his name. In that little space he could choose the next right step. Step outside, place a hand on the heart, or simply breathe and look at the floor that was actually under his feet. Impersonalizing is not forcing. It is creating room, holy room, so that wisdom can govern the next inch. Stand, therefore, Ephesians 6:14. Standing is not straining. It is refusing to be pushed off the ground of isness. Now, I want you to notice what does the work, not bravado, not willpower, recognition. The recognition that error is impersonal, mesmerism, an echo, a picture without substance. Get thee behind me, Satan, Matthew 16:23, is not addressed to a person, it is addressed to suggestion. You are not humiliating yourself by having a wave pass through you. You are humiliating mesmerism by denying it a throne. Give it no person, no law, no substance. The moment you give it person, you must defend or condemn that person. The battle multiplies. The moment you give it law, you must obey. The moment you give it substance, it will seem to endure. Drop it, see it as claim only. If you say, but it feels like me, I answer, of course suggestion imitates the first person. That is its only chance at survival. If it arrived saying, I, the arm of flesh, hereby apply for sovereignty, you would smile. So it arrives as your own thought, your own ache, and seeks your signature. Decline to sign. Sign only this: I am the beloved of the Father God, appearing as individual being. Life is, love is, peace is. From that signature, you will discover you are able to be kind to the body while refusing to be impersonated by it. That is the safety of this way. You do not force calm, you behold presence. You do not deny the wave, you deny its lordship. And in that beholding, the next wise human step presents itself without violence. Resist not evil, Matthew 5:39, is gravely misunderstood. It does not mean capitulate to harm. It means stop wrestling with pictures. Recognize nothingness as nothingness. Then act as wisdom directs. Walk out, speak no, ask for help without enlisting the old story as your name. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you will know this is working. The space grows, the choice appears, the old meanings lose their microphones. I will help you. Do you follow that? There is a danger here, and I must name it plainly. When suffering speaks, many rush to throw words at it. They pick up spiritual phrases like stones and hurl them at a trembling heart. There are no accidents. Just think positively. You created this, and the like. I tell you, such speech is not ministry. It is interference. Job heard it and said, miserable comforters are ye all. Job 16:2. Words can antagonize pain when they are used to prove a point rather than to serve a life. Do you see? If you have ever been ill and someone recited truths at you, you know how the soul recoils. I resent it when truth is used as a rod. Truth is not a weapon, it is a presence. In crisis, the ministry may be only this: I will help you. That is not small, that is everything. It means I will stand by in consciousness. I will withdraw my gaze from the picture of panic and from the personality of the sufferer, not to ignore them, but to behold God appearing as individual being right here. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. I hold to as, I hold to is. God is. Presence is. Peace is. I do not set out to fix a condition. I consent to reality and let it announce itself. Outwardly, I may say little. Inwardly, I am saying much without words. I am consenting to the fact that the only power present is God. What, then, is help? Not controlling another's process, not managing their breath with your will, not insisting upon silence or forcing calm. Help is the refusal to make the surge a person and the refusal to make the person a surge. Help is a posture, gentle, steady, undramatic. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench. Matthew 12:20. If I am with you and a wave takes you, I do not rebuke you with truth, I shelter you with presence. I might say softly, I'm here. I might suggest, let's notice the floor. And underneath my few words, I am knowing. I am that I am is here as this very being, intact, whole, beloved. Do you follow that? Presence does not make us foolish. We listen, we validate, we ensure safety. If the body needs water, we offer water. If the room is too loud, we step outside. If the situation is unsafe, we remove ourselves or call for help. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Matthew 10:16. Presence does not compete with appropriate supports. It accompanies them. God may appear as the skill of a clinician, the steadiness of a friend, the timing of a phone call. There is no spiritual superiority in declining help. The Lord is at hand. Philippians 4-5. Because the Lord is at hand, we can be moderate in our speech, prudent in our actions, and faithful in our consciousness. We are not in rivalry with good care. We are witnessing the one presence manifesting through every right avenue. Why do platitudes fail? Because they assign blame where compassion belongs, and they enthrone the arm of flesh by making a show of overcoming it. They turn as and is into yardsticks. If you really knew truth, you would not feel this. That is cruelty dressed as doctrine. It breeds shame, and shame is a hypnotist's best ally. Platitudes talk to the mask and inflame it. Presence beholds the face behind the mask and dissolves the need for it. Platitudes try to speed fruitage by emotional pressure. Presence allows fruitage to appear by right government. Let your speech be always with grace, Colossians 4-6. Grace is not clever, grace is quiet. I will tell you how this looks. One night a mother called, voice thin with fear. Words wanted to run. I let them go. I said only, I will help you. I put the receiver down and turned within no affirmations, no mental pounding, as is. Thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. In a few minutes the call returned. The child was sleeping. Do not make a ritual of that. Make a principle. By your life experience, by the fruitage, you discover that the less you argue and the more you behold, the more quickly harmony shows its face. Not always in fireworks, often as a softening, a space, a wise next step. Hear the safeguard. Keep your words few when pain is loud. If you must speak, say, I will help you, and mean it. Mean that you will not abandon consciousness for commentary. Mean that you will neither preach at the sufferer nor collaborate with the claim. Mean that you will hold to identity, God appearing as individual being, and to government, presence is here, and let the body, the room, the circumstance find its level without your interference. In that atmosphere, healing steps announce themselves, sometimes to leave, sometimes to rest, sometimes to call, sometimes to be still. Having established this posture, we can now take up a simple, faithful method that primes the pump without forcing an experienced daily recognition that matures into listening. If you learn to keep presence instead of throwing platitudes, you will be ready to practice in the quiet letter, yielding to spirit until fruitage proves what the heart already knows. Do you see? I will help you. The daily work is simple and faithful. We call it priming the pump, and we mean by that the movement from the letter of truth into the spirit of truth without forcing an experience. Words are auxiliaries. At first they are needed. Later they are often an interference. So we begin with conscious knowing the letter, and we ripen into receptivity the spirit. This is not a lazy man's work. It is quiet, steady, almost hidden labor, the kind that plants a garden in consciousness so that when heat bears down, the roots know where the water is. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. First, the stillness we choose, then the knowing that chooses us. On waking, before the mind puts on its armor of schedules, we pause. Not long. Long is not the point. Accuracy is. We take up as and is as one would take up a morning lamp, God appearing as me. Presence is without strain, life is, love is, peace is, I am upheld. If the words wish to become sentences, let them quietly. I and the Father are one. All that the Father hath is mine. This is my beloved Son. We are not trying to convince the sky. We are consenting to what is already true and asking the mind to sit down long enough for reality to make itself known. Keep these same pauses before meals, not to sanctify food by a ritual, but to remember source as appearing as supply. Thou preparest a table before me, Psalm 23:5. A moment's recognition breaks the hypnosis that matter feeds life. God feeds life as life. At the desk, when handling money, sending, receiving, calculating, stop the rush. The world trains fear around numbers. It anoints the arm of flesh as banker. We refuse. We say within, abundance is, law is, order is. I am steward, not struggler. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Luke 15:31. Let this be so quiet that no one at the counter would know. Let it be so steady that every account begins to tell the same story. Sufficiency without strain. Before sleep, we close the circle. We withdraw the day's borrowed names and give back to God what is God's. If words come, let them be few and rhythmic, like tide. Life is, love is, presence is, I am upheld. Then lay down the words as one lays down a tool that has finished its use. Turn from speaking to listening. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. 1 Samuel 3-9. The letter has primed the pump, now the Spirit flows without your pushing. You may feel a warmth or nothing at all. You may drift to sleep at once. Do not measure. Do not beg for a sign. Do not scour your heart for fireworks. The measure is fruitage, not mood. By their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. If problems are more quickly met, if choices arrive without panic, if rest deepens, if irritations shorten, if generosity grows, then the work is working. If not, you may only be reciting the letter while your ear remains closed. Return to the beginning, be still, know. On some days, the words will feel wooden. Say them anyway once, truly, and then listen. On other days, the words will not come at all. The silence itself will speak. Allow both. This is practice, not performance. We are not hunting a dramatic feeling. We are entrusting ourselves to isness until it registers as the atmosphere in which we move. Pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians 5:17, does not mean chatter. It means an unbroken recognition that God is the life and law of being, showing itself as individual you. You see? The constancy is the devotion. The fruitage is the proof. Let us be practical about time. You need not add hours. You can repurpose moments. Waking, meals, money, sleep, at doors and thresholds too, leaving the house, entering a meeting, answering a call, place one quiet knowing before speech or motion, as is, life is, love is, presence is, I am upheld. In a week you will discover that the inner atmosphere precedes you into rooms. In a month you may notice that dread checks its watch and arrives late. In a year you will not recognize the one who once waited for calm to prove God. You will know God first and let calm be the side effect. Now understand the mercy of this. We practice in the quiet so that in the noisy hour we are not strangers to our own sanctuary. In a moment we shall apply this discipline where it counts in the very heat of a trigger without condemning a single tear or flinch. We will not preach to the body. We will not collaborate with the claim. We will stop, name, drop, turn, and listen, turning from the arm of flesh to present isness, standing by in consciousness until the next right step is given. In returning and rest shall ye be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. I will help you. Do you follow that? Now let us do this in the very moment it matters. 5 movements, simple and faithful. They do not fight the body. They return you to government. They do not deny what is felt. They deny its false authority. Do you follow that? Stop. 1 conscious breath, not to achieve a mood, but to interrupt the automatic story and re-enter witnessing. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Exodus 14:13. The wave may be fast. The breath can be faster. The breath is not your savior. It is your bell. It rings you awake to the fact that you are not the movie. You are the one who sees. If the body is shouting, let it shout for 3 seconds without your commentary. That is all. The stop breaks the spell long enough for you to choose. Name it correctly, and you loosen its cloak. Arm of flesh, hypnotic suggestion. A learned alarm, not me, not my identity. A claim upon consciousness presenting as me. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Ephesians 6:12. Naming is not hurling a label, it is withdrawing a title. The snake in the dusk becomes a rope when we call it rope. The heart can race, the palms can sweat. But if you will quietly say within, this is a claim, not a self, you have already stepped out of the costume. Do you see? Drop. Resist not evil. Drop the argument that you must conquer the sensation or that the sensation defines you. Do not brace. Do not bargain. Let the picture be a picture and refuse its jurisdiction. Let not your heart be troubled, John 14:1, is not a scolding. It is a permission slip to stop wrestling with images. The moment you stop proving and disproving, the wave has nothing to hold. You may even find a quiet sentence emerging of itself. This need not be about me. Then let it go. Drop it. Turn. Turn to is ask, what is true now? Not yesterday's loudness, not tomorrow's prediction. Now, floor under feet, breath moving of itself. A presence here that did not begin when the trigger sounded and will not end when it fades. Underneath are the everlasting arms, Deuteronomy 33-27. Let 2 or 3 words place you on holy ground. Life is, love is, I am held. Look at something actually present, a doorknob, a bowl, a tree, and include it in your awareness. This is not distraction. It is re-entrance into what is. Government returns to the present when you consent to the present. Listen. In that small space, open the ear, Father, show me. Not long, not dramatic, a brief receptivity. Ask, and it shall be given you, Matthew 7-7. The answer is usually immediate and practical. Sip water. Step outside. Loosen your jaw. Say, give me a moment. Call a friend. End the meeting. Set the boundary. Breathe once more. Be still. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Psalm 119-105. A lamp lights the next step, not the whole road. Take that one step without self-violence. Let me show you how this looks. A man in the market hears a voice behind him, a tone from old rooms, and the body locks. Stop. One breath. Name, learned alarm, arm of flesh, claiming me. Drop. No wrestling, no speech against himself. Turn hand on the cart's handle. Feel the metal cool and undeniable. Presence is, I am held. Listen, the word is simple. Step into the next aisle and look at the oranges. He does. The lock loosens enough for a choice. Finish the errand or go to the car and call a friend. He chooses the car. By his life experience, by the fruitage, he discovers that the spell shortened, the shame did not rise, and the next step was kind. Tomorrow, the same sequence may end with finishing the shopping. The measure is not bravado. The measure is freedom appearing as wise action without panic. Do not make a ceremony of this. Make a habit of it. In a doorway, in a meeting, at a sudden noise, stop, name, drop, turn, listen. Each movement is mercy. Each movement refuses to enthrone the arm of flesh and consents to isness as government. After the fire, a still small voice, 1 Kings 19:12. That voice will not shout over your arguments. It will speak when you stop, name, drop, and turn. Then it will guide, and the guidance will be enough for this step. You can meet a trigger without self-violence. You can honor the body without bowing to mesmerism. You can act firmly without hatred. You can let truth be what it is, and let feeling finish its wave, and you will find yourself still seated in your own center, God appearing as individual being. I will help you. Do you see? We must go one step deeper now, beyond methods and moments, to the root that quietly governs them all, identity. 2 traps sit at the door of consciousness and trade masks depending on the weather. One says, I am broken. The other says, I am fine. Both keep the gaze fixed upon a personal self-concept as center. Do you see? The first enthrones pain. The second polishes pride. The first binds you to yesterday's verdict. The second binds you to tomorrow's performance. Neither is your life. Neither is your name. Identity is not a story dressed as a resume of wounds or a trophy case of triumphs. Identity is as God appearing as individual being. Identity is presence here, unbegun, unafraid, unprovable by mood or memory. To reach this, we must unsee both human evil and human good as definitions. Unseeing is not refusal to acknowledge events. It is refusal to bow to their interpretations as self. Look back of the eye, back of the title self, back of the roles and their rehearsals. Behold the witness that is not the weather. Thou seest me, thou seest the Father. Confer John 14-9. I and my Father are one, John 10:30. This beholding is not a fantasy. It is the simple act of resting attention in what is not improved by flattery, or injured by insult. The I that lives because God lives, not because the nervous system measures well today. This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased, Matthew 3:17. The pleasure is not earned. The sonship is not seasonal. Do you follow that? Now hear how shame tries to counterfeit identity. Shame says, this happened, therefore I am. Truth says, that happened, therefore I need care, not a new identity. Care may be rest, counsel, gentleness with the body, wise boundaries. All of this is right humanhood, and it is holy when it is not used as a mask. But shame wants promotion to king. It begs for a surname broken, and then it taxes every breath. Decline the coronation. Let the event receive care, but do not let the event receive your name. Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest. John 9:3. The works of God manifest when we refuse to call the picture person and the person picture. We give the body water, we give the psyche time, we give the self to God. On the other side, triumph puffs itself as a better prison. I am fine, I have transcended that, I am the strong one, the enlightened one. This also is the arm of flesh, only with polished armor. It can be more dangerous than despair, because it wins applause and hides its strain. Unsee that costume, too. If you attach your name to victories, you must guard them with anxiety. If you let God be the only name, victories become scenery, not self. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Luke 15:31. Ever with, all that I have, not after perfect regulation, not after a 45-day streak of composure. Inheritance is not wages. Inheritance is nature. God appears as you, and that is the end of earning as identity. Try this today. When the boast arises silently or aloud, smile and let it pass as you would a cloud. When the condemnation arises, place a hand upon the heart and say within, this being is God's appearing, not a verdict. Life is, love is, I am upheld. Then take the next kind step. Call for apologize if needed, rest if needed, say no if needed, without adding because I am this sort of person. The next step is governance. The label is mesmerism. We are not trying to become a spiritual persona. We are remembering truth and letting persona retire. I will tell you plainly why this matters. If we stop here, some will make even this into an emotional jag, a glow, a sense of nobility, a story about being beyond stories. That too is story. So we require verification. We insist upon fruitage, not a halo. Results, problems met more quickly, triggers that loosen sooner. Relationships in which boundaries appear without bitterness and compassion does not collapse into rescue. By their fruits ye shall know them, Matthew 7:20. In a moment we will look at fruitage, not to grade ourselves with severity, but to ensure that realization has become life and not performance. Until then, keep the gaze where it belongs, back of the eye beholding the beloved Son, in whom the Father is well pleased, and letting both I am broken and I am fine sink back into the sea from which they rose. I will help you. Do you see? Now let us be as practical as a farmer checking the field after rain. Truth is not a private glow. It is a government that shows in life, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Fruitage means tangible outcomes. Problems more quickly solved, fewer spirals, faster recovery after activation, kinder self-talk, wiser boundaries. Not perfection, not a permanent summer. A new authority in the present that shortens the storm and steadies the step. Do you see? One may say, the triggers still come. Has nothing changed? Listen carefully. The presence of weather is not the measure. The governance of weather is. When fruitage appears, The claim no longer reigns. The interval between the stimulus and the collapse shortens or disappears. The body may surge. The witness does not immediately resign. Words inside grow kinder. This is a claim, not my name, and choices appear where once there was only a slide. A good tree bringeth forth good fruit. Matthew 7:17. The tree is not the sky, it is what the sky touches. If you are rooted in as and is, you will bear fruit of steadiness even on windy days, not because you are trying, because you are planted. Let me name some markers for you. You notice that this month, the rush of alarm that once kept you out of rooms for hours now loosens in minutes and sometimes in seconds. You catch the first tight sentence of self-accusation and exchange it for a simple truth. Life is, I am upheld without launching a trial. You set a boundary in clear words and need not rehearse the boundary afterward for 3 days. You rest before you break. You return a call when you said you would, not out of fear, but out of a quieter integrity. Faith without works is dead, James 2:26. Works here are not noise. They are these modest obediences that appear as harmony. Do not confuse feeling with fruitage. A day can feel stormy and still yield good fruit. You stopped, named, dropped, turned, listened, and took the next right step. A day can feel calm and yield little fruit if complacency seduced you back into identification with persona. The test is not the temperature of the mood. It is the conduct that flows from realization. Are problems being met more quickly? Is there less argument with what is? Are your words gentler inside and cleaner outside? Are you being led to appropriate supports without shame? If so, rejoice. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, Malachi 3:10. Prove does not mean browbeat. It means live and see. If, over time, nothing changes, no shortening of spirals, no softening of speech within, no wiser boundaries, do not condemn yourself. Return to the practice, adjust the method. It may be that you are staying at the letter, never crossing into listening, or that you recite as and is while gripping the picture with both hands. It may also be time to welcome help. Presence does not compete with supports, it accompanies them. The same God who appears as your being can appear as a therapist's skill, a physician's insight, a friend's faithful listening, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, Zechariah 4:6. Spirit uses many avenues. Let it, to verify without pressure, keep a simple record, not a courtroom, a garden log. Once a day or after a notable moment, write only 4 lines. What was the trigger? What did I do? What shifted? What was the next right step? Keep it spare. Over weeks, you will see a pattern. The triggers may be similar, but your doing becomes simpler, your shifting quicker, your next steps kinder and more accurate. This is how you avoid the emotional jag and anchor realization in life. Let patience have her perfect work, James 1-4. Patience is not delay. It is continuity of right seeing. A brief story. A woman who once left every gathering in tears found that after a month of stop, name, drop, turn, listen, and the morning recognitions, she still felt the same surge when voices rose, but she did not bolt. She found her breath, placed her hand on the back of the chair, knew presences, and heard. Step outside for 2 minutes, she returned and completed the evening. She wrote in her log 4 lines and went to sleep without the old shame. By her life experience, by the fruitage, she knew the tree had changed its root. Do you follow that? This is how you know the work is working. The past still knocks, but the door is not management's to open. The home is the present. And now we must widen the circle. Fruit that blesses your own heart is only the beginning. How do we move among others without making them responsible for our nervous system? without projecting yesterday's ghosts onto fresh faces? How do we keep boundaries without bitterness, hold compassion without collapse? We will take that up next, carrying the same authority God, appearing as individual being in the same government isness, into our friendships, our homes, our work. I will help you. Do you see? Now we carry this into the living rooms and offices of our days. Here is where old rooms echo in new ones and where love is tempted to lose itself. Do not give ultimate reality to another's behavior, nor to your own alarm. See the suggestion at work, the arm of flesh claiming authority, and then choose wise action. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12. To depersonalize does not mean to excuse. It means you refuse to enthrone the picture as law. You behold as God appearing as individual being, and you stand in his present authority, and from there you speak or you step away. Do you see? Let your boundaries be few words and clean, no sermons. Keep the inner work inward, outwardly. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. A simple form will serve you. State the need, state the limit, state the consequence, without heat. I will stay in this conversation if we both speak calmly. If the shouting continues, I will end the call. I am not available for this topic. If it returns, I will leave the room. I can help Saturday from 10 to 12. If more is needed, we can discuss next week. Then keep your word. The boundary is not revenge, it is order. A clean no is kinder than a resentful yes. Inside, you remain in isness. Outside, you act with clarity. A soft answer turneth away wrath, Proverbs 15:1. And sometimes the softest answer is a quiet exit, spoken once, without drama. Refuse the rescuer role and the victim role. Both are the arm of flesh trying to secure identity through drama. The rescuer drinks exhaustion to purchase importance. The victim rehearses helplessness to purchase permission. Decline both sales. Stand in sonship. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Galatians 6:2. Does not cancel. Every man shall bear his own burden. Galatians 6:5. Support is holy. Absorption is hypnosis. Compassion is not collapse. You can help, but you cannot be someone else's God. Practice I will help you correctly. First in consciousness, Father. Reveal thy presence here. This is thy beloved child. Show the next step. Then if a step is given, take it. Drive them to the clinic. Send the email. Make the soup. Say, no, I can't do that. And mean it. Help is not always yes. Sometimes help is, I will listen while you call the hotline. Sometimes help is, this must stop now, and you contact proper support. Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, Matthew 10:16. Do you follow that? A brief picture. A brother begins the familiar spiral, accusing and pleading in the same breath. The old self would jump into the fire to prove love. Today you stop one breath. Name this as a suggestion claiming both of us. Drop no argument, no lecture. Turn presence is, I am held. Listen, the word arises. Say one clean sentence and end the call. You speak, I love you. I will talk when you are sober tomorrow at noon. If you call before then about this, I will not answer. Then you end the call. No bitterness, no victory speech. In the morning you answer at noon. If sobriety is present, you proceed. If not, you repeat the boundary. Over weeks, fruitage appears. Less chaos in your home, more honest conversations when the conditions are met, and a steadier heart in you. Love has not shrunk, it has shed its costume. Identity has not hardened, it has awakened. Guard your heart and your gates. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. In every exchange, hold to the two pillars. as this one before me, whatever their weather is. God's appearing, not a problem person, is right now. Guidance is present. Peace is available. The next step is given. Then use the little practice we learned. Stop, name, drop, turn, listen, applied within conversation. Stop, take one silent breath while they finish a sentence. Name this heat is a claim, not a commander. Drop no self-attack, no counterattack. Turn. Presence is, my words can be few and true. Listen, speak the boundary or the blessing that is shown. If the door must close, close it gently. If the door can open, open it without fear. This is how you love without losing yourself. This is how you carry compassion without collapse and set boundaries without bitterness. You stop personalizing suggestion and you act from inner authority. Underneath are the everlasting arms, Deuteronomy 33-27, and they do not fail under you or under the one you address. In a moment we will sit quietly and let the whole teaching fold into a single way of being you can return to daily. For now, let this be your simple inner path. As, is, few words, clean steps, I will help you. Do you see? Let us sit quietly now, not to do, but to be. We have built a simple scaffold, and we can trust it. As God appearing as individual being is present reality, unchanging here. And what is not of that? The arm of flesh, an impersonal claim upon consciousness, nothing as law, only appearance that argues for itself. Do you see? This is not a theory. This is home. Your body may speak. It has learned vocabularies from old rooms. Let it speak without hatred, without fear. You owe it no war and no worship. It is not your law. It is a loved servant. Let not your heart be troubled, John 14:1, does not mean silence the body at once. It means do not enthrone the disturbance as your identity. The heart rests under a greater government. Lo, I am with you always, Matthew 28-20. Always is now, 1 minute then, has a seal on this hour. Close the eyes if you like, open them if you like. No wrestling, no self-improvement project. Consent. Father, here I am. As thy life appearing as me is thy presence now. Then lay down the words. Listen. If there is only silence, let it be rich. If a word rises, let it be simple. Beloved, hear. Enough. Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth. 1 Samuel 3-9. We are not manufacturing truth. We are receiving what is. A minute is sufficient when the gates are open. We go from here not with slogans, but with a test in life. Choose one recurring trigger this week. 1, not 10. Meet it as we have learned. Stop, name, drop, turn, listen. Very simply. No performance. Then notice the fruitage. Is the interval between alarm and choice shorter? Do words inside grow kinder? Does the next step come without panic? By their fruits ye shall know them, Matthew 7:20. The proof is not a mood. The proof is a cleaner step in the same hallway. Remember, history will knock. It is practiced at it, but it need not move in. Your home is present isness. Today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, confer, Hebrews 3:15. The voice is not yesterday's shout, it is the still small assurance that government is now. When the knock comes, smile without defiance. Say within, this is a claim, not my name. Life is, love is, I am upheld. Then turn the handle of the moment you are actually in and take the next right step. This is how deserts bloom, by one step of water at a time. Do not hurry, your holiness. Let it be thorough. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Psalm 23:2. He makes, he leads. Our part is consent and following. If you find yourself striving, return to the minute of silence. If you find yourself glowing, return to the minute of silence. The same presence meets the one who trembles and the one who triumphs, because both are costumes, and the eye beneath is beloved Son. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Matthew 3:17. The pleasure precedes your performance. I will help you, not with much speech, but by standing by in consciousness. Take this simple grace into the ordinary waking, meals, money, doors, and that one trigger, and let the week be your teacher. If the past shouts, answer softly with is. If the body surges, give it breath and do not grant it crown. If you forget, begin again. The infinite does not tire. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 21:5. Newness is not spectacle. It is the present recognized as home. We close as we began, quiet, sober, grateful, not triumph, but trust. Not a promise from me to you, but a promise from God to his appearing. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Hebrews 13:5. That is enough. Thank you.